In reviewing the evidence, my co-author Wallace Henley and I decided that there were three central points that we needed for God and Churchill, three reasons why we wrote the book. The first was to disprove the erroneous belief that great-grandpapa was either an agnostic or an atheist. Up until God and Churchill, historians had always written him off as either agnostic or atheist, but God and Churchill proves very definitely that he was not. The second was to use the already well-researched and undisputed historical evidence surrounding Churchill and his life to indeed show that his survival and his success would not have been possible had that high power which Churchill referred to not interfered regularly in his life. Having proved that not only Churchill had a faith in God, but also proved that God actually did intervene in his life, Wallace and I both felt that this would offer hope in a world where we honestly feel somewhat hopeless in some cases. It was hope that if God did intervene in Winston Churchill's life, and it did intervene throughout the Second World War, then it is entirely possible that he is intervening in the world and indeed in our individual lives today. In order to effectively contradict those many well-respected historians who had written my great-grandfather off as either an agnostic or an atheist, we first had to look at what Winston Churchill himself had to say. "I am not a pillar of the church, but a buttress." It is a common misconception that in order to be a person of faith, you have to become dogmatic, or indeed you have to attend a regular religious service. But interestingly enough, the Bible makes no reference to either. "They shall be known by their fruits" is how a person of faith is determined. The Sermon on the Mount was, as my great-grandfather recognized, the last word in ethics. And he said the more closely we follow the Sermon on the Mount, the more likely we are to succeed in our endeavors.